Different first aid courses. So we do emergency first aid at work, which is a 1-day course. We get about 6 to 7 hours of training. It's all hands-on. And the other one is the first aid at work course, which is 3 days. More in depth, and the students will learn a lot more.
Emergency first aid is for basic life support. Somebody's on the floor, somebody needs help, and it's just to help them while the ambulance arrives. 3-day first aid at work is more about knowing in depth about cuts, anaphylaxia, cold, injuries, blisters that you can help and advise people with. That's the difference between the two. Our training is hands-on. Practical, practical, practical. We've even invested in dolls that give instant feedback. They have lights on them. So if you're doing the compressions, you can see the blood moving around because that's what the compressions are doing. They're keeping the person alive. And our lights that go all the way through the body and go to the head. And if the head is lighting up, that means you are getting oxygen to the brain and they are not dying, you're maintaining their life. And we think investment in kit has been so important because first aid is a practical subject. We think it should be instinctive. We drill, drill, drill. Our course is not an attendance course. And the final part of our course is the assessment at the end. We send the second instructor in on day 3, who they're not familiar with. And what they do is they walk into a room and they have to do an assessment and do triage on whatever they see in front of them. A lot of other courses and a lot of other providers just do continual assessment throughout the course. In my thoughts, I'm thinking it's pretty much an attendance course. We definitely don't make it that, because that's not what first aid is.
We put them into a situation where we're putting them under pressure. We want them to relay the skills that they learned under pressure, because once they've done it under pressure, if they have to do it again, they'll have already been through that situation. The first time that you actually come across a critical situation in first aid, your heart will be racing, you'll be sweating, you'll be panicking. But if you've already been put in that situation, you've already know how to deal with it, the first aid becomes natural.
My favourite part of the course is when I pretend to be a casualty and I'm a pain in the arse. I've got blood screaming out everywhere and we've got an unconscious casualty. And what I try to do is I try to make sure that they focus on the priority of the unconscious person. Because the unconscious person that's not making a noise is the one that's in trouble. The one that's making a noise is still alive. But we put them under that pressure and it's how do they deal with it. At that time, we either escalate it if they're very good, we escalate the person that's bleeding to start going unconscious and start feeling faint. Or if they're flapping a little bit and can't cope, then we keep it down. So we allow them to still do the drills. And afterwards, we give them personal one-on-one feedback.